Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good tomorrow, good yesterday. Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome for the first time to my channel, Apio Puzzles. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. And just a quick reminder that I'm tracking towards 100 subscribers. I'm quite close now, so if you like this content, do subscribe. Now I'm recording this rule description for this puzzle after having finished the puzzle. I decided, given the length of the rules, that I would first solve the puzzle, make sure I could solve it, because it takes quite a long time to explain the rules. And in my last video, my intended video on the Rat Run series number 8, I actually failed the puzzle. I did a recording, firstly, getting halfway through the puzzle and not being able to figure out how to continue. And then lying in bed one morning, it dawned on me what I was missing. So I started a new recording, reread all the rules again, and walked through the puzzle to the halfway point, and then continued solving with my new insight, only to get towards the end and actually come up with a Sudoku error. So I must have made some other logical mistake somewhere. It turned out that that puzzle was ranked 4 out of 5 for difficulty in the end, which I found a little surprising, because although I made those mistakes, I didn't find it super hard. But obviously maybe I was overlooking something which would have been hard if I'd realized that I had to think about it. But after having tried it twice, I couldn't bring myself to do it again. I actually am kind of tempted now to try again, to get up on the channel, and it's very satisfying. It was a really good puzzle. That was the really annoying thing. It needed to see the light of day, although it will of course be on Cracking the Cryptic. But today was Rat Run 9 shock value, and I note that it had already gotten 2 out of 5 for difficulty, so a lot easier. And Marty himself had assured me that this one was much more approachable. And so, yeah, I was very excited to see this come up, and I did it this morning, and here I am with the rules. So, Rat Run 9 shock value. This is a series of brilliant puzzles around this fictional rat, the Sphinx, who's being put through a range of experiments to test her fitness and acuity of mind. And each puzzle has a kind of it has a bunch of rules that are kind of similar, and then it will have 1 or 2 rules that are unique to that puzzle. So here we go. As the little narrative goes at the top there, in the Crimson Maze we introduce cages to test Sphinx's performance when faced with hazards. Despite Elliot finding it amusing to call them killer cages, I keep reminding myself that the voltage is nowhere near high enough. 31st of July 1974. So normal Sudoku rules apply. Place digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column and 3x3 box. So that is standard Sudoku rules. Every row, column and box has the digits 1 to 9 once each, as per normal. The boxes are a bit harder to distinguish in this puzzle because of the presence of these the maze walls, but they are the standard 3x3 areas that you see in Sudoku. Now, aim of the experiment. Sphinx the rat must reach the cupcake. So Sphinx is here and her cupcake is here. By finding a path through the maze, the path must not visit any cell more than once, cross itself, or pass through any thick maze walls. As well as moving orthogonally, Sphinx may move diagonally if there's a 2x2 space in which to do so, but may never pass diagonally through a round wall spot on the corner of a cell. So that is to say that she's going to follow some sort of path through the maze. She can't go through a wall like this. She can't loop back on herself in any way, so she couldn't kind of come around and go back. So just as you might imagine, she moves orthogonally, which is to say left, right, up and down, except in instances where we have a diagonal section where there's space for her to move like this. She can't move diagonally across the corner of a wall. And in some of the puzzles, there are also just like little wall segments in the middle to indicate the same, but this puzzle doesn't have any of those required. And I think it's there, and actually she can move diagonally at will in the middle here, and through here. So, and up here, there's a lot more diagonal movement than is normally possible. So teleports. Entering a yellow teleport will cause Sphinx to be instantly transported to the other teleport. From there, she can continue her journey. The teleports contain the same digit. So this and this contain the same digit. And if she comes into this cell, she will come out here. It's not required that she go through that, but I think in most instances, well, in all instances so far when there's been teleport, she has, and that makes sense. Why have them if not? Black currents, so digits separated or connected by a black current are in a 1:2 ratio. That is, one is double the other, and not all dots are given. So this here, these two cells, have to be in a 1:2 ratio. So for example, if this was a 4, you could put a 2 here because that's half of 4, or an 8 because that's double 4. A 3 would go with a 6, etc. Not all dots are given, so we can, of course, have a 3 and a 6 without a black dot. That's fine, but if there is a black dot, we must have that 2:1 ratio. Now, the cages, digits do not repeat in a cage, so these 5 cells here will be different digits. Every cage has the same total, so each of these cages will be the same total. So if this equaled 10, then this would equal 10, this would equal 10, etc. And you need to deduce what that value is. The digit on a cage's electricity symbol is its shock value, so these little symbols here. Any cage with a shock value of 5 or more is switched on, and Finks should not enter these for safety reasons. Cages with a shock value lower than 5 are switched off and are therefore safe to enter. So if this cell here was a 1, 2, 3, or 4, it would be fine for Finks to travel through any of these cells in the cage. But if it is 5 or more, then this cage is completely out of bounds. She should not travel through it. And finally, the test constraint, which is the main event in terms of the nature of the path that she follows. In this experiment, the correct path will be a valid Chinese whisper line. That is, adjacent digits along the path must differ by at most 2, which is very, very constraining. So let's imagine that she came out this way, whatever it is. As we go along the path, let's say this was a 5. This has to be no more than 2 away from 5. So it could be 3, 4, 6, or 7. And let's say it was a 3. This in turn has to be no more than 2 away from this. So it could be 1, 2, or 4, and it can't be 5 because that would repeat, etc. So that's a very constraining rule. And yes, this is a very good puzzle. I highly recommend it. It's not too difficult, and there's quite a lot of straightforward Sudoku you can do in addition to tracking the direction that she travels. There's a nice little kind of flourish at the end as well in terms of how she finds her way to the cupcake. So thank you for the puzzle, Marty, and great to have finished this and gotten up on the channel. I hope you all enjoy, and I will see you all again soon, hopefully for the DA cryptic from the age yesterday. Here's earlier Jordan. All right, so let's have a look. Now, in these puzzles with cages that all have the same total, we can often narrow down the possibilities for that value. For example, we have a 2-cell cage here, and there's one here, and the maximum they could be would be 8, 9. So 17 is the highest we could make our cage value. But similarly, we have on the other side of the spectrum a 5-cell cage, which has a minimum value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 15. So our cage total must be between 15 and 17. Right, so those 3 cells, or those 3 cages, if the cage total was 15, then those 3 cages would sum to 45. But we know from the classic secret that actually just this box alone is 45 because it contains the digits 1 to 9. So if we add this cell in, it's definitely more than 45. So 15 is not the total. It's either 16 or 17. If it's 16, we have 3 16s for 48, 45 of them in here, and then a 3. Otherwise, it's 17, making 51, 45 in here, and then 6 in here. So that's nice. Now, 16 as a total, or 16 or 17, always has a 9 in a 2-cell. It's either 9, 7, or 9, 8. So these are from 7, 8, and 9, with a definite 9. And this is on a lightning bolt. So we've discovered Finks's initial pathway is through here, up here, and then we'll decide. She's probably not going to come this way straight to the cupcake, so we'll assume she's going this way, but we'll have to figure out why. Let's have a look, though, the implications for all of this. This can't be more than 5 or more, so it must be small. And this has to sum to 17. And now we've got the the Chinese whisper rule. So if we put a 1 here, for example, that's not going to work because the best you could put along the line would be 1, 3, 5. And that sums to 9, and that's not enough. We need 17. 2 probably has the same problem. Yeah, that's 12. And then 3 is only 15. Right. So this actually is a 4. And then there's probably a bit of flexibility with this. We need this to sum to 16 or 17. So the maximum you could do would be 6 and 8. So that's overshooting. So there's a bit of room to move here. If that was 16, these would have to sum to 12. They couldn't be 4, 8. They couldn't be 7, 5. They couldn't be 9, 3. So that is not right. So this is 8, 9. We're looking for a total of 17. Minus 4 is 13. We need 13 more. Not 4, 9. Not 8, 5. Must be 6, 7. And the 6 can only go next to the 4. The 7 can't go next to 4. It's too far away. So that's a 7. And this digit has to be 2 away or less from 7. And the only digit left is a 5. So that gives us a 1, 2, 3 triple along the top of the box. And we're off and running. Now, this black dot here, well, this value here has to be close enough to 4. So it's 1, 2, 3 only. 5 and 6 is not available, and 5 can't be on a black dot because it would make a 10 or a 2.5 here. So we've got a 1, 2, 3. 1 is too far away from 4, so it's a 2 or a 3. That goes to this cell. 2 can't go to 1 because if it did, then this cell would have to be a 3, and we clash with the 3 we've already got. So if it's a 2, then it goes to a 4, and if it's a 3, it goes to a 6. Rightio. And this, because of the 1, 2, 3 triple, it could go up from a 6 to a bigger digit, couldn't it? Okay, so we'll come back to that maybe. I just want to, this black dot here can't be a 1, because 1 will put 2, and then that you couldn't put, you'd have 3s in both of these boxes, cells. So that is not a 1. 2 goes to, well, no, we've got a 3 dot sequence here, or 2 dot sequence. So you can't put 3, 6 because you need another 3 on the other end. So this is a 2, and this can't be a 1 because that would make this a 2. So this is a 4, and this is an 8. And if she does come down this way, then that's fine. She can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. This little guy here is a 5, 6, 7, or 9, as are they all. And that is a lightning bolt, and that's 5 or more. So she's not coming that way, as suspected. So she will come across, and then she's going to dip down into here because she can't go straight to 8. But what's going on here, because this cell has to be close enough to this, which means it has to be a 3, because that can get to our 5. Nice, okay. So, and the 8 is going to come to this cell. Actually, it can come to any of those cells, I think. So, any of those digits. Oh, what's happening over on this cage here, though? That's 17. So there can't be a 9. If there was a 9, even if you made it 9, 6, the minimum, that's 15. And these would have to both be 1. So there isn't a 9. There's a 9 up in the corner. That sums to 13. We need these to sum to 4 to get to our 17. And 1 and 3 is the only way you can make 4 in 2 cells. Good. Now, this 4 is going to have to come down in here to either 2, 3, 5, or 6. It can't come to 5 or 3. So it's coming to a 2 or a 6. Pausing briefly. If it comes to a 6, that seems legitimate enough. It can come up to the 8. In fact, it could even go to a 7, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, actually, hang on, the 9 is a big issue. Let's just draw the line. It's going to continue. The 9 can only go downwards, and it can't go to an 8, so it must go to a 7. That's the furthest away it can get, which means there's not a 7 in here. But that doesn't really matter. What's it, 2, 4, or 6? Oh, right, and which digits amongst those can get to an 8? Only a 6. Oh, no, it's not 2, 4, 6. Hang on, let me get this right. It is... feel like... Oh, is it just... Oh, it's just a 2, 6 by Sudoku. That 4 forces itself into here by this 4. That's the easy way of looking at it. This is 8, 9 pair in the row. So we do have a 2, 6, of which only the 6 can visit the 8. And in fact, the 2 can't visit the 6. So the 4 must come to the 6, and then so one of these is a 6, and it goes to it. Then it goes to the 8, 7, 9, 7, and along on its way. So these are a 1, 3, 5, and only the 5 can be reached by the 7. This can let's get rid of those. So she could move across 5, 3, 1 all the way, or just like this. If she comes down, this is a 6 because 17 is the total. We've got 3 cages, summing to 51, 45 in the box. This is 6. So now, what's in here? We need this to sum to 11. So this could be a 1, 2, and an 8. 2, 4 would make 6 plus 6 is 12, and you need a 5 here, which you can't have. And 4, 8 is 12, plus 6 is 18. That's too big. So this actually is 1, 2, 8. And although that's small enough for her to come through, she can't get from that digit to that digit on her route. So she will definitely come left and only to the 3. By Sudoku, let's put the 8 in there. There's a 1 down here, probably a bit over pencil marking. What's down the bottom here? 3 and 4. This cell is the same as this one, so that's a 3 or a 4. It's not determined though. We don't know that she's definitely coming through there, but we do know that they are the same value. This dot here is not a 3, 6. Or doesn't involve a 4 either, so this can't be an 8, 4 or a 2, 4, so it must be a 1, 2. Yeah, that's correct. That's nice. So, and then we're going to have 2 cells here summing to 15, not including a 7, so they are a 6, 9. Oh, that's nice. So yes, that confirms that she doesn't come through here because, well, 2 can't get to that digit, and that is on a lightning bolt, making the cage electrified. So she must come through here, which means that she's going to come down from here. And she's not coming through the 6, so we just determined that, so she must come this way. Now, let's consider these other 2. They're probably pretty forced. I'm thinking, for example, the 9 is going to be in one of these. And what does it go with to get to 17? It's either 9, 1, 7, and that's no longer possible because the 1's in here. 9, 2, 6, which is not possible. So it is 9, 3, 5, and the 3 there makes this the 3, 9, 5, or 9, 3, 5. That looks... Yeah, that's not... So we can't come down this way because the 9 cannot reach a 3, 5, or a 1. So the 9 will be stranded in the middle somewhere. So this must come down, and we will know the digits just by Sudoku, 4, 6, and 7, which do sum to 17. 3 has to get to this digit, and 6 and 7 are too far away, so that's a 4. That's a 6, because 7's too far away. That's a 7. That's given us the 2, 6 up the top. There's a whole bunch of Sudoku we can do. This is a 7, 8. Yeah, 7, 8. And we're left with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9 in here. Okay. Now, this cell has to be close enough to this, so it is a 5. And this is a 9. The 9 can't come straight to the 5. So Well, I don't think we know then. She could come 975 or 9875. There's going to be a uniqueness question there. We could solve this by uniqueness, but which is to say that in the final puzzle, how would this be? If this was 987, this would break the puzzle because there would be no way of telling whether she came this way or that way. So it must be that this is an 8, but we'll be able to prove that by Sudoku. Right, so moving along, we know that she's going to come out over here and then out over here. I haven't determined those, have I? Oh, I do know these. Let's get that straight. That's an 8, 9, and the order's known from the 8 across to the right. That puts an 8 in here. Take the 9 out of there. Do I bother pencil marking this column? Maybe not just yet. This can't be an 8 because it's too far away from this. So in fact, what can this be? It's got to be close enough to 3. Presumably, it can't be 1 because that would make this have to be a 2 and that would kill this cell. So it's not 1. If it's a 2, then I think that's okay. You go, oh no, if that's a 2, this can't be 1, 4. It would have to be 3. Oh, that might be okay. So it could be a 2. 3 is available. 4's not. 5's not. And 6 is. That's close enough to that. So that's kind of not quite known. That 5 can come to either of those, can't it? Yeah, so that's definitely not known yet. Well, let's consider these 5 cell cages because they're pretty restricted. 17 in 5 cells. Minimum would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make 15. So you've got to move up 2 values. And that means that you can't change the 1, 2, or 3. If you took the 3 out, what would you replace it with? A 6. And that's 18 already. So you must have 1, 2, and 3. And the 1 up the top places the 1 there. So we're going to have a 2 and 3 in here. 1, 2, 3 makes 6. And we need 11 more. Okay, right. And let's just put the 2 and 3 in. Let's say they're there. To make 11, how do you do that in the remainder of the thing? You can't use 6, 5. You can't use 3, 8. You can't use 2, 9. So you must use 4, 7. So this is a 2, 3, 4, 7. But more than that, this is a black dot. So it must be only the 2, 4 pair. And this is 3, 7. And we're left with 5, 8, 9 with a 5. That's interesting for this because that means this can't be a 2 because 2 can't get there. So that's a 3 or a 6. I don't think it's further. But coming back down here for a second, I probably know more. There's a 6, 9 here. So that's a 3. I've had that for ages. That's a 5 to be close enough. And that's the 8. And that's the 9. And right. So, and then she has to come this way to be close enough to 5. And this has become a 4, so it's all falling over. That's a 2, that's a 4. We've only got the 8 left in the column. By Sudoku, we can solve those as well. This digit can't be 3 or 4, so it must be 6 or 7 to be close enough to 5, but it can't be a 6 because of this one, so it is a 7. The box only has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. It's very tempting to feel like this is in the same box, but it's not. So where's she going from this 7? Oh, well, this cage here has a lightning bolt, and that is too big. So she can't come through this cage at all. So she must come down. From the 6, she can't come to the 2. Oh, and this is also a 15 cage. So let's consider this. This has a 1, 2, and 3 in it. 3 goes there. We've just got by Sudoku now 1, 2, and 5, which is getting us to 17. So we like that. Just going to solve this one for the Sudoku. I'll put a 1, 2, 5 in here in the row. That 3 is on a black dot, so that's a 6. And we've got left in the column a 1 and a 7. And that's a 7 by Sudoku, 1 on the right. Now, 3, 6 means she can't come through there. So she's definitely coming down this way. So she must eventually come through this gap. Oh, that's nice. So that means this is a 5 to be close enough to 7. And now the 6 can only get to the 4 in its vicinity. It can't go into the cage to the left, so it must do this. 4 can't go to 8, but it can go to 3, it can go to 6. Might have a few options there actually, so maybe we don't quite know. There's a 5 over here by Sudoku. It's not here. So is that as far as we can take that? The 4 here gives us the 4 in the corner because they're the same value. That doesn't change. We've proven that this is an 8. So we can do that as the path. Nice. Now, so it's just Sudoku. Keep missing those basic insides. That's a 9. That's a 6. Yeah, so this is really... It's very smooth, this. There's quite a lot of Sudoku you can do along the way without having to think too much about the path. 1, 2, and 4. Now, the 7... okay, so the 7 can't come through here because then this can't get to here. They're too far apart. So she must come up and this way, which forces this to be a 4. Just quickly check up the top. We've got a few 8, 9 pairs in the columns. These are 15 cages. Let's not forget that. I don't know actually if that's quite relevant yet. That's not a 9. So there's a 9 there. And that's a 1. So this is a 2, 1. And then we've only got 6 and 7 left, which is also 6, 7 pairs in the column. So we've got these kind of 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s, leaving only 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Leaving only 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the columns in the remaining cells. But we could just do normal Sudoku to say we need a 2, 3, 5 here with a 2 in it for sure. I don't think that's further determined. And then 3, 5, and 4 with a definite 4. Now then, is there some trickery I need to do here? I do know that these have to sum to 15 each. Oh, well, what's this? This is 18, which means for the rest of the box, 45 minus 18, this is 27. We know that these two cages sum to 34, so these must sum to 7. So that means they don't have a 1. Nice. So that's a 2, 5. And this is a 1. This is a, get this right. No, I've got this wrong. Did I just, oh no, I just overwrote the 4. Good grief. That's a 1, that's a 2. Right. Now, that 4 can actually now only come to the 2, which then comes to the 3 and then to the 5. Nice. This 4 that's nice. If the 4 came to the 2 here, or came to this cell, it would have to be a 2. That would make this a 5, but she would have, oh no, she could go diagonally. Oh no, sorry, that makes no sense. This is a 2, 5 pair, so this is a 1. That's the straightforward thing. 3, 1. So it wasn't quite as fancy as I thought. The 4 just must, well, no, actually no, it can still go to either of these. If it comes to this one, that's a 2 because it can't be a 5 in an electrified cage. If it comes to this one, then that can be either, because this value would just not have to be a 5. Ooh, what is happening? Oh, hang on, we've got a 3 by Sudoku. We can take that out of there. We've got a 2 5 pair, so that's a 4. And 2 and 5 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus a 6 is 17. So that resolves that deadly pattern. And I feel like I'm still missing something kind of obvious. So there's definitely a 3 in here now. Get rid of that 4 pencil mark. So 2, 3, 5 triple. Definitely a 3 in here. So 7 and 3 is 10. The remaining digits must sum to 7, so they must be 2 and 5, which they are. Well, okay, what about the path to the cupcake? I can see it working that way. Right, hang on. If this was a 7, this would have to be a 5. Well, this is a 7 rather. But if it was coming to the 7, this would have to be a 5 to be close enough, but the 5 would be on the lightning bolt, making it electrified, meaning it couldn't come down this way. So it actually cannot come down this way. It must come via this direction, which is going to do all sorts of wonderful things. This becomes the 5. This becomes the 3 and the 2. 5, 4. This is a 5. This is a 2. And the 6 must come to an 8, 9, 8. And before I put the last digit down, I'm just going to make sure that I can do this path without confusion. Yeah, she must come directly across, because 5 can't get to 2, 1 can't get to, 4 can't get to 1. And that leaves us, I think, with a complete path and a 9 in the corner. Oh, and a tick. Nope. Oh, I didn't resolve those two there. And way, all right, you can see this, yes. So experiment completed successfully. Visited cells 43. Black currants eaten 2. Inactive cages entered 5. Active cages entered 0 with a little tick. My concerns about the ethics of this experiment were perhaps a little unwarranted. Finks remained as focused and determined as ever. If anything, she appeared to relish the challenge of determining which cages were safe to enter. I now feel much more at ease about how she'll cope with next week's sensory deprivation experiment. There we go. 377 solves. That's popular. That's before it's been on Cracking the Cryptic as well. So lovely stuff. Thanks again to Marty. Thank you to everyone for checking this out. And I'll be back soon with another puzzle of some sort. I suspect maybe yesterday's DA Cryptic.